Hi dear Odooers, and welcome back to this video on budget management. As a company grows, it's important to track its financial health and compare current performance with different budgets. Budget management focuses on financial planning by tracking expenses and revenues and comparing them to their forecasted amounts. Here at Bloom, we manage our budgets with Odoo, and we already have our yearly budgets, but we'll also need to create one for our brand new greenhouse we're about to build. Let's take a look at it in our database. First, note that you'll need to set up some analytic accounts before you can create a budget, so be sure to watch our previous video on analytic accounting to help you out. We'll start by going to the accounting app settings, and we just want to make sure that the budget management option is enabled. Now we can go into the accounting menu, into budgets, and you'll see we already have last year's budget set up. We can click into that to see how it's structured. So we have the different analytic plans as columns, and then we have the different analytic accounts as rows underneath them. Of course, there's no limit to how many budgets we can have, so let's go ahead and create a new one for our greenhouse project. And that started back at the beginning of June and is going until the end of August. And this is going to be an expense type budget because we don't want to include any revenue lines. Next, let's customize this budget line section using this additional options button to keep only the projects or the analytic plans that we're interested in. I'll just pull this over to make some room. So we're going to go ahead and structure it using the analytic accounts that we've created. So we'll go ahead and start with our architecture and permitting fees, and that is going to be for 5,000 euros. We can add another line for our labor, and that one is for 10,000. Add another line for our materials for 25. And then we have our site preparation for 6,500. And lastly, we have our tech, and that was for 15,000. Great. So now that everything is settled, we can go ahead and open our budget.
What happens if the budget is no longer accurate and I need to revise it?
Great question. So there's actually two options. You can either reset your budget to draft if you didn't fill it in correctly in the first place, or you can revise it if you need to update the new one after some time and you want to have a little more transparency. So we're going to do that in this case, and we'll see that we have a little revised tag for the reference. So now we can make our changes. Say our budget changed and we only have 15,000 available for the materials instead of 25, and we can open. So now if we go back to our list view, we can see that the original budget has now been set to the revised status. But if we go to our new one, we can see that we have two new columns now that we've opened it. The achieved column is basically your current result regarding the analytic account. So all the money you've actually spent using that analytic account. In the committed column, you'll find the amount purchased but not yet billed plus the achieved amount. We can add the theoretical amount or the theoretical percentage using the additional options button. The theoretical amount is how much you should have achieved based on how far into the period we are. So as you can see, these amounts have been automatically calculated based on the vendor bills already in our database. But we're going to create a new purchase order because we need to buy some materials for our new greenhouse. So let's go into the purchase app. We'll create a new purchase order to our friends at Greenhouse Experts, and we are going to purchase that greenhouse construction kit. So once we add the analytic distribution, should be materials, we can see that we have it all ready to go.
But why is the line red?
Oops, thank you. So that's actually because this purchase order is putting us over our budget. So let me see if there is another option for our construction kit. So here we can see we have a few others. It's actually sorted by our delivery lead time, but this first option is too expensive. We're not in a hurry, so we're going to choose the one from building materials instead. So let's go back to our purchase order. We're going to change the vendor to building materials, and let's delete this line and re-add it so that we can get it looking right. We'll add our materials plan, and voila. It's not red anymore. We can go ahead and confirm. So as you can see, we can use this Budget Smart button here, and that's going to take us to some budget reporting. We have a little pivot view where we can see the different amounts that are committed and achieved. And now let's go and check on our budget how this purchase order has affected the budget and the different columns. So here in materials, we can see that we have that 10,500 amount in the committed column, but not in the achieved column. So now if we go back to the purchase order, we can create the bill for this purchase order. We're going to add the bill date and confirm. We'll go back to that budget one more time to take a look. And now we can see that we have that amount in our achieved column as well. So now if I click onto the details button, we'll get to a pivot table with all of the budget information regarding that plan. Next, we can click on any amount, and it's going to take us to the analytic items that are contributing to that amount. Finally, let's go back to the budget list view, and we can look at how we can generate multiple budget periods with this generate button. So I'm going to select the budget 2024, click generate. We can set a time period here, but I'm actually going to leave it as is, and we'll set it to monthly. Then I'm going to select the analytic plans that we want. We want this one just for utilities, and we can click split. So now we can go back to our budgets, and we see that we have 12 new monthly budgets from January to December for the utilities plan. And we can click into any of these, and with the utilities plan visible, we'll be able to update each amount. This is going to be really useful because some of these amounts, like our gas usage, can vary a lot throughout the year. So if you want to have an overview of all of the budget lines, we can select all of the budgets, and we can click on budget lines. And if you want to see an aggregated view of these budget lines, you can find it in the budget report, and that's going to be in the reporting menu. We can go down to budget report. Here, of course, we can have our pivot view, the lines like we were looking at before, and a graph view. Well, now you know all you need to know about how to manage your budget in Odoo. Thanks for watching. This has been your pal Dal. I'll catch you in the next one.